Before we call the roll, we are going to have a special invocation from one of our very own who has been preparing all evening for this invocation. So members, please rise for our invocation.
That's why I was late this morning. I prepared until the Lord came, but good morning. Good afternoon. It's good to see you. Please pray with me because I'm honored to be here. I'm happy to see all of my friends from both sides of the aisle, and we give thanks. Our Father and our God, we know that all of us who have gathered here love the work we do on behalf of our constituents. We ask that you now help us to do your will. For the Bible says, except the Lord builds the house, they labor in vain. Lord, although we may each bring different perspectives and ideas about the work that we do, as members of this esteemed body, we have all been blessed to share a collective and mutual respect one for the other, as well as genuine and sincere thanks. We are thankful that at least we like each other and share a common concern and devoted affection for this great state in which we live. Help us to be patient and to be listeners one to the other as we make these crucial decisions on behalf of and for what we believe is the betterment of the citizens we serve. God of might and God of wisdom, grant us great power. We ask that you endow us with your grace and your mercy as we proceed in our deliberations to advance the cause of good. Lord, bless our governor and his family. Bless the president of this esteemed Senate, all of the officers and staff who labor on behalf of all of the citizens of this great state. Help us to continue to be patient and thoughtful about new ideas as we prepare for our work. In the name of God we pray, amen.
Amen.
Thank you.
All right, the clerk will, oh, excuse me, yes. If we could have the senator from District 6.
Okay, Mr. President, can we journalize the wonderful prayer? Thank you, sir.
Without objection, most certainly we will journalize the invocation this morning. If we will, as this is now a special session to kick us into gear, if we could have the clerk call the roll by name.
District 1, Mike McKay. District 2, Paul D. Quarterman. District 3, Karen Lewis Young. District 4, William Folden. District 5, Justin Reedy. District 6, Johnny Ray Solling. District 7, J. B. Jennings. District 8, Carl Jackson. District 9, Katie Fry Hester. District 10, Benjamin Brooks. District 11, Shelley Hedelman. District 12, Clarence K. Lamb. District 13, Guy Gazzone. District 14, Craig J. Zucker. District 15, Brian J. Feldman. District 16, Sarah Love. District 17, Cheryl C. Kagan. District 18, Jeff Waldstreicher. District 19, Benjamin F. Kramer. District 20, William C. Smith, Jr. District 21, Jim Rosapep. District 22, Alonzo T. Washington. District 23, Ron Watson. District 24, Joanne C. Benson. District 25, Nick Charles. District 26, C. Anthony Muse. District 27, Kevin M. Harris. District 28, Arthur Ellis. District 29, Jack Bailey. District 30, Shanika Henson. District 31, Brian W. Simonaire. District 32, Pamela Beidel. District 33, Dawn D. Geidel. District 34, Mary Delaney James. District 35, Jason C. Gallion. District 36, Stephen S. Hershey. District 37, Johnny Moutz. District 38, Mary Beth Carroza. District 39, Nancy J. King. District 40, Antonio Hayes. District 41, Dahlia Attar. District 42, Chris West. District 43, Mary Washington. District 44, Charles E. Sidnor III. District 45, Corey V. McCrae. District 46, William C. Ferguson IV. District 47, Malcolm Augustine.
With 41 members having responded affirmatively to the roll, the Senate of Maryland has a quorum and is now in session for the 2025 first special session. If we can, Madam Clerk, to get us organized, if we could please, we have a message from the executive. Clerk will read the message.
Proclamation convening the General Assembly of Maryland in extraordinary session at Annapolis, Maryland on December 16th, 2025. Whereas the Honorable Adrienne A. Jones, Speaker of the Maryland House of Delegates, stepped down from her role as Speaker on December 4th, 2025. Whereas Speaker Jones made history as the first African American and first woman to serve as Speaker of the House, and she leaves a legacy of accomplishments that touches the lives of nearly every Marylander. Whereas Speaker Jones has served in the House of Delegates for nearly 30 years, representing the residents of District 10 in Baltimore County and serving the entire state of Maryland as Speaker since 2019. And the House of Delegates, in accordance with its rules, must elect a new Speaker to succeed Speaker Jones. Therefore, I, Wes Moore, Governor of the State of Maryland, by virtue of the authority vested in me by Article 2, Section 16 of the Maryland Constitution and the laws of Maryland, hereby proclaim and convene a special extraordinary session of the General Assembly of Maryland to commence on Tuesday, December 16th, 2025, in the city of Annapolis to enable the House of Delegates to elect a new Speaker. Given under my hand by the Great Seal of the State of Maryland in the city of Annapolis, this 9th day of December, 2025, Wes Moore, Governor.
Executive order having been read is ordered journalized. Before we jump immediately into things, I just wanted to take a very, very brief moment to just thank on behalf of the Senate, but publicly thank former Speaker Adrienne Jones for her incredible work. As many of you all know, she has spent 30 years dedicating her life towards equity, justice, and growth. And she has been just a remarkable figure, historic figure for the state of Maryland. Everyone of course, talks about how she is the first woman speaker, the first black speaker, and these are incredibly, incredibly important signs of breaking down critical barriers that have lasted too long. She has also had an amazing impact on rethinking the way in these critical last 6 years, how we think about Maryland and the world. We have most recently passed the Department of Social and Economic Mobility, something that will last for decades to come, making sure that we can ensure that all Marylanders have access to economic mobility. But it goes back to her time in the 90s when she was chairing the Joint Committee on Fair Practices, in which she was leading the effort to try to expand opportunities for people in the public sector, knowing that that was a place where people could find economic opportunity and find stability to raise a family and grow here in the state of Maryland. I also think that in the last 6 years, as we've navigated some of the most challenging issues from COVID to police reform to challenging budgets to the Key Bridge to divided political government, she really represented the civility and decency that I and all of us, I believe, would want to aspire to in public service. She has a deep and unyielding heart for people. And while people called her quiet or the steady hand, I am so unbelievably humbled and grateful having to get to know her as a friend. And as we move forward here into the next chapter of leadership, I do think I would be remiss to say that it's not just in the way Maryland will function, but also this very space. When she came in from the very beginning, we made a change in the hallway to a former Civil War plaque that had been there for decades that no longer needed to be there. Probably never should have been there in the first place. We then moved forward in 2020 to have the old House chamber have Harriet Tubman and Frederick Douglass, where now for years and years ahead, people will be able to touch and feel these remarkable Marylanders. And it was the former speaker who pushed to see this to come to fruition when we were able to have that amazing ceremony in the hallway in 2020. And then, of course, next year, for the 250th anniversary of the founding of this country, we will be memorializing and recognizing black patriots here in the state of Maryland with the new statue that will be on the State House grounds. That was truly a product of her vision and belief in recognizing all Marylanders. And so, on behalf of the Senate, I just wanted to take a very, very brief moment in this time of transition to just reflect and say thank you to Adrienne Jones, to Madam Speaker, for her incredible impact and the impact that she will have for generations to come. So thank you for allowing me to indulge in that in just a moment. I know we'll all be working closely with her. She'll be working for the District 10, but look forward to that ongoing partnership. It does appear, and I was going to wait, but it does appear that the House does now have a new Speaker officially. And so we will welcome House Speaker Jocelyn Pena-Melnick. It is going to be an exciting new chapter of leadership in this time of uncertainty, and I very, very, very much look forward to working with her, as I'm sure each and every one of you do as well. So with that, let's go ahead and jump into the work. We have a little bit to do today. We should be here for, well, we'll see. We'll see how it all plays out. We have to organize the Senate and get things moving. So before we go any further, let's get we have an order. If the clerk could read the first order.
By the Majority Leader, ordered by the Senate of Maryland that the orders, appointments, and rules in effect during the 2025 regular session continue to serve for the special legislative session of 2025 by order, Nicole M. Alexander, Secretary of the Senate.
Without objection, the order is adopted. We now have an announcement from the Senate. Clerk will read the announcement.
Announcement. The President makes the following leadership announcement. All leadership positions held during the 2025 regular session continue to serve for the special legislative session of 2025.
Announcement having been read is ordered adopted. We have another announcement. Clerk will read the second announcement.
The President makes the following announcement to the continuing committee pursuant to Senate Rule 18A2. Senator Kevin M. Harris to Education, Energy, and the Environment. Senator Malcolm Augustine to Budget and Taxation.
Announcement having been read is ordered adopted. We have a message to the Senate from the House of Delegates. Clerk will read the message.
By the Majority Leader, ladies and gentlemen of the House of Delegates.
To the Senate.
By the Majority Leader, ladies and gentlemen of the Senate, the House of Delegates has organized pursuant to Article 2, Section 16 of the Constitution of Maryland. We respectfully propose, with your concurrence, the appointment of a joint committee of 4 members, 2 on the part of the House and 2 on the part of the Senate, to wait upon the governor, inform him that the General Assembly is now organized and prepared to receive any communications he may desire to make. We've appointed on the part of the House of Delegates, Delegates Moon and Buckle. By order, Sylvia Siegert, Chief Clerk.
Message having been read is ordered journalized. We now have a message to the House. Clerk will read the message.
By the Majority Leader, ladies and gentlemen of the House of Delegates, the Senate has organized pursuant to Article 2, Section 16 of the Constitution of Maryland. We have received your message notifying the Senate of organization of your honorable body and requesting the appointment of a joint committee to wait upon the governor to inform him that the General Assembly is now prepared to receive any communications which he may desire to make. On the part of the House, Delegates Moon and Buckle have been appointed. We have appointed on the part of the Senate, Senators King and Hershey. By order, Nicole M. Alexander, Secretary of the Senate.
Message having been read is ordered adopted. We now have a message to the executive. Clerk will read the message.
By the Majority Leader, His Excellency, the Governor of Maryland, Wes Moore, the Senate of Maryland is organized and prepared to receive any communications you may desire to make. The President of the Senate is the Honorable William C. Ferguson. It is the intention of the Senate that upon adjournment on December 16th, 2025, the Senate will adjourn sine die. By order, Nicole M. Alexander, Secretary of the Senate.
We all heard that, right? December 16th? All right. Message having been read is ordered adopted. All right, we are now up to our first order of official business for this special session as constitutionally required. We have our first calendar of veto bills. The clerk will read the first bill.
Senate Bill 121, Senator A. Washington, Vehicle Laws, Noise Abatement Monitoring Systems Pilot Program, Inspection and Extension. Shall the bill pass notwithstanding the objection of the Chief Executive?
All right, Senators, the question before the Senate is, shall the bill pass notwithstanding the objections of the Chief Executive? A green vote is to override. The red vote is to sustain the governor's veto. Any discussion? Any discussion? If not, the clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President?
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote? Explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 42 votes in the affirmative, the veto is overridden. We now will move to, the clerk will read the message.
By the Majority Leader, ladies and gentlemen of the House of Delegates, the Senate today, notwithstanding the objections of the Governor, voted to override the veto on Senate Bill 121. Said bill is returned to you for your consideration by order. Nicole M. Alexander, Secretary of the Senate.
Message having been read is adopted. We'll now move to our second calendar of vetoed bills. These are policy vetoes. Clerk will read the first bill.
Senate Bill 116, Senator Lewis Young, Data Center Impact Analysis and Report. Shall the bill pass notwithstanding the objections of the Chief Executive?
All right, Senators, the question is on Senate Bill 116. Shall the bill pass notwithstanding the objections of the Chief Executive? A green vote is to override the governor's veto. A red vote sustains. Any discussion? If not, the clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President?
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote? Explain their vote? Yes, recognizing Senator from Baltimore County has 2 minutes to explain his vote.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Today I rise to voice my support for overturning the governor's veto of this data center impact study in the strongest possible terms. This past year, since learning of this project, my office has been in a fact-finding mode. Just 2 weeks ago, we held a community meeting to share all the information our offices had gathered, hear from a panel of subject matter experts, and gather input from our constituents as we chart our path forward together as a community. The presentation from our subject matter experts was the stark construction of data centers like a proposal in my district, raising deeply serious concerns. Despite these concerns, the experts were adamant that across the country and here in Maryland, we are currently rushing to approve data center projects through a poorly planned, chaotic process that lacks a foolproof regulatory framework to protect our communities from harm. Naturally, my constituents responded with deep concern, fear, and even outrage. Some of them have told me that they plan to move should this facility get built, if they could even afford to do so. They have already felt the pain of rising grocery prices and rent, spiking electric bills, and increasing childcare costs. This country's recent history, we have heard at length about the wonders of capitalism and the evils of socialism. However, when I view projects like this, it seems the benefits are only for the wealthy and the costs are that are socialized for everyone else. Amidst this affordability crisis and the most extreme wealth inequality in modern history, we cannot promise families of Maryland that they will see the revenues nor community benefits of these projects. We cannot promise them that they won't ultimately be
proud to stand with my Frederick County Senator on an issue impacting our communities. But this is a very real impact. Frederick County is the first that's really started to develop our data center platforms, and right now we're looking at a 2,200 acre parcel. Right now, as we're speaking, tonight, the county council is going to vote on expanding that footprint, another 2,200 plus acres in Frederick County. These concerns are real. This current data center is being built just over 1,900 feet from Carroll Manor Elementary School, with no updates or concessions to updating the ventilation systems in the schools or the impacts directly relative to that school when they power up the generators and other things around there. It's 500 feet to several homes that are less than 500 feet to several homes that are close to there. Again, we don't know the impact of those homes or those families, but we do know their value is going down. When we start putting the money or the money of the taxes being brought in from this opportunity versus the knowledge of the impact, we fail. We fail our citizens and we fail our community. And the other link to this is that as a part of this, we have now a transmission line going across our landscape of Frederick County to serve Virginia, and 3%, less than 3% will come back to Maryland. The governor needs to stop that project. He can stop that project and require them.
Body is, shall the bill pass notwithstanding the objections of the governor? Any discussion? If not, the clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President,
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote? Explain their vote. If not, the clerk will take the call. With 31 votes in the affirmative, the Senate Bill 149, veto, has been overridden. Clerk, read the message.
by the Majority Leader, ladies and gentlemen of the House of Delegates, the Senate today, notwithstanding the objection of the governor, voted to override the veto on Senate Bill 149. Said bill is sent to you for your consideration by order Nicole M. Alexander, Secretary of the Senate.
Message having been read is adopted. Clerk, read the next bill.
Senate Bill 157, Senator Simon Eyre, Maryland Disability Service Animal Program established. Shall the bill pass notwithstanding the objection of the Chief Executive?
All right, Senate Bill 157. The question is, shall the bill pass notwithstanding the objections of the Chief Executive? Any discussion? Not, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President,
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote? Explain their vote. If not, the clerk will take the call. With 44 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 157. With 44 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 157's veto is overridden. Clerk, read the message.
by the Majority Leader, ladies and gentlemen of the House of Delegates, the Senate today, notwithstanding the objection, is sent to you for your consideration by order Nicole M. Alexander, Secretary of the Senate.
Message having been read is ordered adopted. Let's go to the next bill.
Senate Bill 177, Senator Hester, Procurement, State Department of Education, Local Food Purchasing Program. Shall the bill pass notwithstanding the objection of the Chief Executive?
Senate Bill 177. Question is whether the bill shall pass notwithstanding the objections of the Chief Executive. Any discussion? If not, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President,
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote? Explain their vote. If not, the clerk will take the call. With 44 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 177's veto has been overridden by the Senate. Clerk, read the message.
by the Majority Leader, ladies and gentlemen of the House of Delegates, the Senate today, notwithstanding the objection of the governor, voted to override the veto on Senate Bill 177. Said bill is sent to you for your consideration by order Nicole M. Alexander, Secretary of the Senate.
Message having been read is adopted. Clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 219, Chair of Finance Committee, Uninsured Employers Fund Assessments and Special Monitor. Shall the bill pass notwithstanding the objection of the Chief Executive?
Senate Bill 219. Question, shall the bill pass notwithstanding the objections of the Chief Executive? Recognizing the Majority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. I would move that we postpone indefinitely.
Bill take the call. Bill take the call. With 43 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 455 veto has been overridden by the Senate. Clerk will read the message.
By the Majority Leader, ladies and gentlemen of the House of Delegates, the Senate today, notwithstanding the objection of the governor, voted to override the veto on Senate Bill 455. Said bill is sent to you for your consideration by order Nicole M. Alexander, Secretary of the Senate.
The message having been read is adopted. Clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 503, Washington County Senators, Washington County Board of License Commissioners Membership.
Senate Bill 503. Question is, shall the bill pass notwithstanding the objections of the Chief Executive? Recognizing the Majority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. I would move that we postpone indefinitely Bill 503.
All right. The Majority Leader has moved that we postpone the bill indefinitely. Any discussion? Any objections? Without objection, the motion carries. Senate Bill 503 will be postponed indefinitely. Clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 587, Senator Muse, State Government, Maryland Reparations Commission.
All right, Senate Bill 587. Question is, shall the bill pass notwithstanding the objections of the executive? Any discussion? Yes, recognize the senator from Baltimore County.
Thank you very much. Colleagues, on late Friday afternoon in May, at May 16th to be precise, word had gotten to me that the governor had vetoed Senate Bill 587, Slavery's History and Legacy in Maryland. Slavery's History and Legacy in Maryland. The General Assembly's legislation introduced and passed legislation the next session authorizing the commission, and it was formed in March 2001. The commission, chaired by my law professor, Larry S. Gibson, was charged with advising the state on issues related to slavery's history and its effects. It was responsible for advising on the public resource allocation to relevant sites, publicizing initiatives, and informing the state about the lingering effects of slavery. We terminated this commission in June of 2019, with many of its functions being transferred to the state archives. And I can personally speak to the 2019 legislation I co-sponsored with a primary sponsor, now Speaker Pena Melnick, creating the Maryland Lynching Truth and Reconciliation Commission, and my 2023 legislation extending the commission's work through June 30th, 2026. Now, while I concede that the scholarship on this topic is both vast in scope and robust in scale nationally, I am unaware of any major research examining this topic which focused entirely on the state of Maryland. And while each of the aforementioned legislatively mandated studies are foundational to an understanding of a portion of Maryland's history to be studied by the Maryland Reparations Commission, the work is not a substitute for the comprehensive study of Maryland that the Maryland Reparations Commission would engage in. Actions are preferable. And this is a defensible policy stance, but not the same as producing the kind of holistic Maryland-specific findings and recommendations the legislation would have required. Respectfully, while the governor has said that this is something that he doesn't need to study, I believe it is something that the state must do. Why? Because yes, we know the broad national history, slavery, Jim Crow, redlining, and discrimination inflicted deep and lasting harm on Black Americans. That truth is not in dispute. But reparations are not a national abstraction. They are a government remedy, and government remedies must be grounded in specific evidence of state action, state responsibility, and state impact. Reparations are also not some recent concept. How many of you are aware that the idea of trying to procure the enactment of a pension legislation for ex-slaves for their years of unpaid labor was put into action 135 years ago? The concept of ex-slave pensions was modeled after the Civil War era program of military service pensions. Returning back to the governor's remarks, the fact is that studying reparations does not stop the governor from acting on those topics he has expressed his support for. The recommendations will ensure that when Maryland acts specifically in the name of reparations, it does so with clarity, credibility, and permanence. If the legislature or community leaders want a durable, defensible roadmap for redress, a focused commission remains the appropriate mechanism to convert fragmentary studies into a coordinated recommendations. Maryland cannot simply point to national history and design remedies. To withstand legal scrutiny, the state must document which harms were created or enforced by Maryland law and policy, how those harms persisted across generations, and how those disparities today trace back to that state action. Now remember, Maryland was founded on March 25th, 1634. According to Ross Kimmel, while the Assembly did not enact slavery into law until 1664, it passed various other laws prior to that time, which not only bespoke a sense of race separateness, but also assumed that Black slavery did exist in fact. In 1664, the Colonial General Assembly passed a statute providing that all Black persons in Maryland would be Black High School in Baltimore City. That is if they were able to travel there. Black High School in Baltimore City. That is if they were able to travel there. And generally that was to Douglas High School. Then the NAACP and Thurgood Marshall sued Baltimore County in the fall of 1936 by the aunt of the now former Speaker of the House. She lost that case. Or one can read Antero Patello's book, Not in My Neighborhood, How Bigotry Shaped the Great American City, which describes how our former county executive, and I'm talking Baltimore County's former county executive, and his government repeatedly demolished historically black neighborhoods. Now, quote, the removals of blacks in Towson and Catonsville were not isolated incidents, but part of a pattern. Using their zoning powers, the county council and the zoning commissioner decimated at least 20 old African-American settlements throughout the county. Not only did Anderson take steps to drive black county residents out, his county government also took steps to exclude black residents, or new black residents, even requiring real estate agents to inform the police if they sold homes to in Baltimore County to black people. And the part of the reason for the commission, And the part of the reason for the commission is because not one member of this body who has worked on legislation really could find a consensus on the variety of topics that were important to reparation, of how centuries of state-sanctioned racial harm continue to shape disparities today. What is paternalistic is telling communities who have waited generations for acknowledgement and repair that the conversation itself is unnecessary. That conversation is important. While the governor's veto of the Reparations Commission bill was a setback, it does not have to be the final word. The General Assembly now has the responsibility and the opportunity to override this veto and affirm Maryland's commitment to addressing historic and ongoing racial inequities. At stake is not simply the creation of another commission, but the moral leadership of our state in acknowledging and repairing harms that have been well documented but never fully confronted. And let's be clear, slavery may have ended 150 years ago, but segregation, redlining, systemic discrimination stretched well into our own lifetimes. The lingering effects are real, and we cannot repair what we refuse to acknowledge. The commission is not about blaming individuals. It's about fixing systems. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you for that detailed and researched explanation, too. It was very helpful. Thank you. All right, any further discussion? Any further discussion? If not, the clerk will call. With 45 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 655's veto by the governor has been overridden. The clerk will read the message.
By the Majority Leader, ladies and gentlemen of the House of Delegates, the Senate today, notwithstanding the objections of the governor, voted to override the veto on Senate Bill 655. Said bill is sent to you for your consideration by order. Nicole M. Alexander, Secretary of the Senate.
Message having been read is adopted. Clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 691, Senator Hester, Healthcare Ecosystem Stakeholder Cybersecurity Work Group. Shall the bill pass notwithstanding the objection of the Chief Executive?
Senate Bill 691. Question is whether the bill shall pass notwithstanding the objections of the Chief Executive. Any discussion? If not, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President.
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote? Explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 34 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 691's veto by the governor has been overridden by the Senate. Clerk, read the message.
By the Majority Leader, ladies and gentlemen of the House of Delegates, the Senate today, notwithstanding the objection of the governor, voted to Senate Bill 972, Senator Lamb, Anne Arundel County Board of License Commissioners alteration. Shall the bill pass notwithstanding the objection of the Chief Executive?
Senate Bill 972. Question is, shall the bill pass notwithstanding the objections of the Chief Executive? Recognizing the Majority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that we postpone indefinitely Senate Bill 972.
All right. The Majority Leader has moved that we postpone indefinitely Senate Bill 972. Any discussion? Any objections to the motion? Without objection, the motion carries. Senate Bill 972 will be postponed indefinitely. Clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 980, Senator Quarterman, Natural Resources, Maryland Heritage Areas Authority Funding and Grants. Shall the bill pass notwithstanding the objection of the Chief Executive? Senate
Bill 980, questions, shall the bill pass notwithstanding the objections of the Chief Executive? Recognize the Majority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that we postpone indefinitely Senate Bill 980.
The Majority Leader moves that we postpone indefinitely Senate Bill 980. Any discussion? Any objections to the motion? Without objection, the motion carries. Senate Bill 980 will be postponed indefinitely. That does it for what we have in front of us at the moment. So we have some House bills that we'll be waiting on to come over. Hopefully that is sooner than later. So we've sent all of ours over. Let's see, before we get into other announcements, do we have any committee announcements? Committee announcements? No, not committee announcements. Just making sure. Maybe maybe he's doing a site visit in the middle of the day, or all right. Let's
22nd birthday.
welcome. Welcome. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Thanks for joining us. Happy birthday. Thanks for joining us. I recognize the senator from the 43rd.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I, as a chair of the Baltimore City delegation, wish to welcome and, Mr. President. I, as chair of the Senate delegation, would like to welcome our colleague, Jill Carter. Senator Jill Carter.
Welcome back. Good to see you. Excellent, excellent. All right, let's see. Do we have any other announcements? I know we have one, the senator from Baltimore County, but before that, do we have any other announcements before personal privilege message? If not, let's go ahead and recognize the senator from Baltimore County, chair of the Jewish Caucus.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Tonight, I rise up as a point of personal privilege. Tonight, Jews all over the world will light the third candle on the menorah, celebrating the improbable victory of the Maccabees over the Syrian Greeks thousands of years ago. And we did so 3 days ago after a horrendous slaughter by two gunmen in Sydney, Australia at Bondi. A lot of criticism for the inaction of some of their leaders. And I'd like to just say that I am very thankful to live in Maryland, where our governor, our first lady, our legislative leaders, president of the Senate, the leadership in the House, and many, many others were very outspoken and forthright and very public in their support of the Jewish community. And many of them attended public events around the communities, lighting candles and making note of Hanukkah. I also would like to thank our Maryland Department of Emergency Management, who is also very vocal on social media, and our police presence. I have been around the community in my district, and just like to thank our Baltimore County Police Commissioner, and I know many others who provided a heightened presence and gave us a better sense of security in these times. So the other thing about Hanukkah is that it is a holiday about light. There was many, many years ago, there was an argument between the House of Hillel and the House of Shammai. I'm not going to get into too much detail, but about should you increase and light candles every night to commemorate?
That should do it for now. Are there any other orders of business before? Before we go to recess? If not, let's do a quorum call.
Mr. President?
Has everyone recorded their presence? If so, the clerk will take the call. With 45 members in the chamber and a quorum being present, the Senate of Maryland remains in session, recognizing the majority leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that the Senate of Maryland recess until 2:30.
2:30, recess till 2:30. 2:30, given time. Recognize the minority leader.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. The Senate caucus will meet at 1:30 for Senate Republican caucus. Just the right side of the room will meet at 1:30, please.
1:30. All right, 1:30. Excellent. All right. That does it. So 2:30. If there are no objections, we will secure the chamber doors. Yeah. Okay. All right. Without objection, so ordered. See you at 2:30, and stay safe.